Today we are not going to learn any big concept. Simple thing we are going to learn. We created our dev folio in our last session, that is yesterday we did that. We created it index.html and it is on my local system e colon, is it not? It is on my local system, right? Now I want to send it or push it live so that anyone in the world should be able to access it. So that anybody in the world should be able to access it. I'll say open with, choose another app, I'll say Chrome always, okay. Now, one thing, some few basic concepts I want to discuss today. Some basic terms and terminologies I want to discuss related to web development. What do you mean by a website and what do you mean by a web application? What is the difference between website and web application? Who can tell me? What do you mean by a website and a web application? You can also speak out. See, I want you to speak. We can download an app. Very good.
I think a website is hosted by Google and an application you can use it independent of Google.
Okay.
Website, in my opinion, is to display and to showcase your things and to offer the world what you have. And web application is something where you can perform some operations or where you can offer some solutions to the world.
Very good, very good. Anybody else? Anybody can answer? Can anybody answer the difference between website and web application?
Yeah, I think this is Kamal. I think the web apps are more specific to specific functions for certain. It's customized and only it's more secure than the content on the web, and also its access is limited to only certain audience or user.
Very good. See, website is something which gives information about a business. In simple words, website is something which shares some information about their business with the world. So website simply shares information with the world. This is your website. I want to share the information with the world. Like Microsoft.com. This is a website. It is sharing some information with the world. Microsoft.com is saying that we have Surface Pro 7, we have 365, some apps, we have some laptops, we have our operating system for Windows 10. If you want to shop for that, you can choose. So it is just sharing some information with the world. If you want to share information with the world, you can see that we are just sharing some information with the world. Careers, we are sharing some information. So we need some experienced professionals and this and this. So all you have some content and you are sharing the information with the world in simple words. This is a website. This is a website. Now, website exists in two forms. Website exists in two forms. One is static website, another is dynamic website. First of all, have you understood in simple words, website is some information that we want to share with the world. So this is what we have developed. This is a website. This is the information we want to share: home, about, services, work, get in touch. This is the information we want to share with the world. This is my address. Are you all getting my point? So this is a website. Now, website exists in two forms. One is static website, another is dynamic website. Now, what is the difference between static website and dynamic website? Static website means content will not change. Whoever may be the end user, if you are accessing this page from US, you will have the same content. If you are accessing this page from India, you'll have the same content. Whatever you do, you cannot change the content of the page. The content of the page remains same. Home, just I can read the information from home about us. I can just read the information. Can I interact with this page? Assume that home is one page. I want answers from everyone. If you say yes, no, keep on saying yes, no, then I'll I'll be very much interested. So home, anybody in the world, if they click on home, can they change this information? No, they can just see the information. So this is a static page or static website. So end user cannot interact with my page. About us, can I change anything here? Whoever may be the end user, they'll get the same result. So this is static website. Services. So this is a static page. Are you all getting my point? Anybody, they want to browse this, they'll get the same thing. They cannot change the content. Work, static web page. So content will be same for every user. So end user cannot interact with my page. So that is called as your static website or a static page. Static website or a static page. It cannot be changed, or in other words, the end user cannot interact. But here you see, home is static, about is static, service is static, work is static, but get in touch is dynamic because you have forms. End user can interact with you. They can type in something, they can select male, female, they can type in some text and they can submit. So every end user can interact with you in different form. So this part is dynamic. The rest of the part of my website is static. I hope you understood the difference between dynamic and static page. Type in yes if you have understood. I want yes from everyone. So I hope everyone of you might have understood the difference between static website and dynamic website. Now, if you see Google, now what do you say? Is Google a static website or a dynamic website? Can you type in the answer? Is it a static website or dynamic website? Abdullah is saying dynamic. Dynamic. 100% dynamic, because the content of the page changes as per the request. Whatever you type, you will get that content. So content of the page changes as per the end user request. So Google is a dynamic website. So Google is also sharing information. Website means sharing information, but this information sharing is dynamic. Whatever the end user is requesting, it is sharing that information. But portfolio is not like that. It is sharing the same information to any user. My information is not changing as per the request of the end user. Whereas in Google, information is changing as per the request of the end user. I hope everybody might have understood the clear difference between static and dynamic website. Now, second thing, web application. Now, what is web application? Web application is also a type of website, but it performs some operations. It solves some problem. It gives solution to some problem. It has a process. It has a process. Like Manzoor the Trainer. Manzoor the Trainer is a website. Manzoor the Trainer is a website which also has a web application. That means a user can register and it's in my hand to make user as admin or a normal user or a student. A user can sign up for a course. If a user can ask for money back, then I can unenroll that user. So we have some process. So wherever you have a process, we call it as web application. So yes, solving end user problem, exactly, solving end user problem. Have you heard about Microsoft Dynamics? Microsoft Dynamics. It is a business management software. It is also a web application. CRM, customer relationship management, you can say. If you see Bootcamp is also a CRM, bootcamp.manzoorthetrainer.com. It is, see what happens. First of all, I get a lead. Whenever any student registers, they get an email. I get that as a lead. Now I will interact with the user or the student. Then student registers for the course. Then that lead gets converted to student. Are you all getting my point? So we have a process here. Then they will enroll into the course. Then we have fees management. We have attendance management. So when you do all these things, some complex task, when you try to solve the problem, so like for example, HR management system. Now, for example, in an organization there are 1,000 employees. So on first of everyone, this HR manager has to give pay slips to all 1,000 employees. Now just you think of him doing or her doing this work manually in Excel sheet, writing name and counting number of days and the salary, then divide by and minus. It will take 1 month to give only pay slips, to prepare pay slips. So we can automate this process and we can give them a web application. So web application has a process, website has information, and there are a lot of web applications which are typically a website. It also has information, it also has some process. So I hope you might have understood the difference between website and a web application. Now, either it is a website or web application, when I say google.com, have you installed Google on your system? Is there anyone who has installed Google on their system? Then how is that we are accessing Google? How is that possible to access Google? Because it is a web application. Because it is a web application. Yes, website can be hybrid. As I told you, Manzoor the trainer is website which is hybrid, which is also a website, which is also a web application. Now, google.com we have not installed on our system. We have not installed on our system. So Google is a website or a web application. Now, whatever you want, you say. Now you got the difference between these two things. Now, what about MS Office? MS Office, is it a web application or not? Is MS Office a web application? Is MS Office a web application? MS Office? No, you need to install MS Office if you want to work. Yes, it is a desktop application, or we call it as Windows application. Any SQL Server you have installed on your system, so it is a Windows application. Visual Studio you have installed on your system, it is a Windows application. MS Office you have installed on your system, it is a Windows application. Calculator you have installed on your system, you have calculator on your system, is it not? So it is a Windows application. Are you all getting my point? So Windows application need to be installed on your system, but web applications need not to be installed on your system. All your web applications are on the server. All your web applications are on the server. Now, what do you mean by server? Server is nothing but it is a simple system. It is also a computer system. Server is also a computer system. And my web application or website is on this server. My web application or website is on this server. And all the computer systems which are in network with this server, can access the web application. So I need not install on each and every system. So web application is an application which is installed on a single system, we call it as server, and all the systems which are in network with the server or in connection with the server can access that web application. So I hope you might have understood the difference between web application and Windows application. Web application and Windows application. Yes, GoToMeeting can be best example for web application. Amazon is also a website and also a web application, because in Amazon you have the complete process, you can purchase, and it also has some information. So now we will just talk about web applications, because we are going to develop web applications. We are not going to develop websites. We are going to talk about web applications. So now let me know who can answer this. There is very big disadvantage of web application. Who can say that?
I don't think you can use it when you're offline.
Exactly. We failed, our GoToMeeting failed yesterday when we lost the network. That is the biggest disadvantage of web applications. You need network, you need connection, you need internet. If you do not have connection with the server, you cannot access the application. But there is one biggest advantage. Who can tell me the biggest advantage of web application?
Anyone can access, you don't need to install everything.
Yes. Anyway, web application means it can be accessed throughout the world. That is the basic point. The advantage is, the biggest advantage when we compare to our Windows application. I'll just clear the drawings. Have you all? Yes.
It will be maintained on one server.
Maintained on one server. Yes, very near to the answer what I was expecting. Have you all seen?
It doesn't take space in our hard drive.
Yeah, that is also a good point. It does not take space.
RAM,
Yes.
but not the hard disk space.
Yes. Okay, that is fine. See, have you, day before yesterday and yesterday, have you browsed Facebook? How many of you have browsed Facebook? And what are the changes that you have seen? Have you seen any kind of change in the Facebook? Come on, I want you to answer. Okay, those who have not browsed Facebook, okay, I'm not asking about them. Then those who have browsed, tell me. No. Oh my God, I have all sincere students, those who never access Facebook. You have. How many of you have Facebook accounts? Have you seen any change? Yeah, I have, I think. This is the old version of Facebook. I have switched back. I have switched to old version. Switch to new Facebook. I'll click on switch to new Facebook. Do you see a new UI? Facebook got updated with a new UI. Looks different, right? So this is the new UI that has got updated. So as somebody answered that, maintenance, if there is anything that you want to update, you can update only on server. That's it. Automatically it will get reflected to all the clients. That is the biggest advantage. If there is any update, you update it on the server. That's it, in one place. If there are 1 million people accessing it, will get all the changes reflected automatically. But when you compare this with your Windows application, if at all there is a small update, each and every user has to install, download and update it. Download and install it. Download and update it. Are you all getting my point? So this is the biggest advantage of web application. Everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. Now, how do you identify a system in the network? See, there are thousands of servers, right, in this whole world. See, I am assuming that you people are some 8th, 9th or 10th standard students and you know nothing, so I am teaching from that scratch level. So those, very good. So those who knows the answer, that's fine, but especially this is for someone who knows nothing. So there are thousands of systems which are in network in this whole world. So how do you identify a system in the network? How do you identify a system in the network? Have you heard about IP address? How many of you have heard about IP address? If you have heard about IP address, write yes. What is my IP address? This is my IP address. That means my system is being identified. My system is being identified with this number because it is in network. The best analogy I will give you, you'll really enjoy that analogy. You have a SIM card in your mobile. You have a SIM card in your mobile and your SIM card is in network. How do I identify your SIM card? With the help of your contact number, is it not? With the help of your contact number. So contact number is unique. Do you find any two SIM cards having same contact number? Do you see any two SIM cards having same contact number? No. In the same way, two systems in the network will not have same IP address. IP address is also a you can say unique number given to a system. So if I want to contact you, then I need to dial your contact number. Then it will make a connection to your SIM card. Then it will make a connection to your SIM card. Are you all getting my point? So your system is identified uniquely in the network with the help of IP address. Now, how many contact numbers do you have in your mobile? How many contact numbers do you have in your mobile? If your family and friends, you may have hundreds of contact numbers. Is it not? Hundreds of contact numbers. So is it possible for you to remember each and every contact number? Is it possible? No. So what do you do? See, you people are answering all my questions. I'm happy. What do you do if you cannot remember contact number? You save the contact number with a name. Are you getting my point? You save your contact number with a name associated to it. Every name is mapped to a particular contact number. Normally, let us take this scenario. Now you don't say that one name can have multiple contact numbers. No, for as of now, just think that one name we have mapped to one contact number. Why do we do that mapping and why do we save? Why? Because we cannot remember numbers. We cannot remember numbers. We give some names A, B, C. So if I want to dial this number 12, one option is I can directly dial 12, but I never do that. I will dial A, I will dial B, I will dial C. So it is difficult to remember IP addresses. So we have names. It is difficult to difficult to remember IP addresses. So we have some names. Those names are called as domain names. Domain names. So every domain name is mapped to a particular IP address. So what you do, you take your mobile and you find out some contact number, Adam, and you will dial Adam. Now once you dial Adam, first of all what it will do, it will resolve Adam into the mapped contact number. It will take that contact number, then it will make a call to that SIM. In the same way, it is difficult for us to remember all IP addresses of all the servers. So what we do, we have domain names. So what I say, www.facebook.com. At the bottom you see this. Oh my god, it went off. Then what it will do, this facebook.com will resolve into IP address, and it will go to the server and then get the information. At the bottom you will see that it is resolving to IP address. I'll just go for manzoorthetrainer.com. At the bottom you see waiting for cache. It is already there in the cache, so it got the information from cache. So first of all what it will do, it will resolve what you can take somewhere. Microsoft we have already taken. You can see establishing a secure connection, resolving. Have you saw that word resolving? So it will resolve into its equivalent IP address. So where do we have the information about the IP address? It is on separate server. We call it as domain name server. Now from domain name server, it will first take the IP address. Then with the help of IP address, it will access the website. This diagram will explain you all the things that I have taught till now. You write www.manzoorthetrainer.com. Then what happens behind the scene? This is domain name. manzoorthetrainer.com is called as domain name. You people cannot remember the IP address of the server where Manzoor the Trainer has got hosted. So you have domain name. So your request will first go to a server where you have domain names mapped to some IP address. I have taken some examples. These are not the exact IP address, some examples. So my request will first go to this server and look for Manzoor the Trainer. Okay, what is the IP address? It will take that IP address. And all the information where you have domain names mapped to IP addresses is called as domain name server, DNS. You might have heard about DNS. Then it will take that IP address, then it will find out that system, that is your server. We got it as web server. Normally it is IIS. It will find out the web server. So it is also a computer system. And from there, because you do not have any file name, it will take index.html as default file, and it will send the page back, and page gets rendered. We are accessing a page. To access a page, we need HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. Protocol means rule. Your data is traveling over the network, so it should follow certain rules. So those rules are called as HTTP. So anyway, in our web APIs, we are going to learn about all these rules. Don't worry about that as of now. So I hope mystery has got resolved. When you type www.google.com, then you get the page, and this is what happens behind the scene. Everyone, have you understood? So see, my main intention behind today's session is you should be in a position to speak out on the topics whenever you go. See, this is web application, this is website, and dynamic website and static website, IP address and domain names and web server and domain name server. So all these things you should be in a position to talk. So I have simplified it as much as possible. And the best example is your telephone with contact numbers saved with some names. Now, what I want, this MTT folio is on my local system. I want to push it to the server. I want to push it to the server. So you need to purchase some space on the server. You need to purchase some space on the server. We call it as hosting servers. We call it as hosting servers. We call it as hosting server. This is also a web server, or you can also call it as hosting servers. So you will have hosting services. GoDaddy is a hosting service, right? So we call it as hosting. So I have hosted my website on myasp.net. This is a hosting server. This is a hosting server. So I have hosted. Now, so if you want to shift this complete content to the server, so this is your FTP address, file transfer protocol. You need to transfer everything to this. Once you transfer, then your website will be available at brook.manzoorthetrainer.com. Manzoor the Trainer is a domain and Brook is subdomain. So in this way, I'm going to create some subdomains for everyone, like abdullah.manzoorthetrainer.com, massa.manzoorthetrainer.com, and I'm going to give you file transfer address, FTP, your username and password, so that you can access it at your location. Now, to access a page or to access a website, we need a browser. In the same way, to access folders, we need a folder. We need folder. I'll open folder, and here I'll write FTP : like in folder explorer, in file in your browser you write HTTP : but in folder you write FTP : ftp.sitefornow.net. This is the FTP address. Wherever you go for hosting, they'll give you FTP address. So this is the FTP address. So username and password, it is asking. Username and password is, so for everyone, I'm going to give username and password. Okay, I will say log on. So you can see that we have logged on. Fine. We are on internet FTP dot sitefornow.net. So this is what we have already hosted. Now I'll just remove all these things. It will take little time to delete because we are deleting from the server. This is the server we have. We are working on server. It will take little time to delete. Now the simple thing to host, what you need to do, you need to copy the content from your local system, that is your e:colon, and you should paste it to this server. As of now we are deleting it. After deleting, we will paste it again. Okay, no problem. Delete. Delete. Okay. Delete this. So there are a lot of things inside. Let's delete it. Fine. Now, this is my local system. I'll just minimize this folder. This is my local system. Are you all getting my point? It's taking some time to delete from the server. We are not deleting from the local system. We are deleting from the server. It is deleting from the server. It is not responding.
So is this server owned by you or any other company?
Yes, not by me. I have shown you, right, my ASP.NET. So I have
Yes.
purchased this server from there. It is
From
paid
ASP.
service, and I can create n number of subdomains. So what I will do, I will create some subdomains for each and every one of you with some FTP username and password, so that you can host your sites on that subdomain and you can access it anywhere.
Okay. If
And at the end, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to work with the server directly. How to work with the server, I'm going to show you at the end. Now, I'll just try to minimize this. Just want to show you that this is your local system. Now, I hope now it is making sense. This is your local system, and this is your remote server. Are you all with me? Because you see, this is internet on FTP. ftp.sitefornet.net. This is local system. Ecolon. You have. Now what we do, we simply copy everything from the local system, go to the server, right click and paste it. It will take little time. Why? Because now we are transferring all the files and folders from local system to the server. And we call it as hosting or deploying, whatever you want you can say. And I have shown the simplest procedure for hosting and deployment. So for hosting or deployment, what do you need? You need this information. So I'm going to create subdomain for each and every one of you, and I'm going to send this information so that whatever the portfolio you have developed, you can host it from your system on this server with this username and password. And you can access your website or portfolio at this address, at this domain, or you can say subdomain, brook.manzoor.trainer.com. So in that way you'll have abdullah.manzoor.trainer.com or david.manzoor.trainer.com. So I'll create for each and every one of you, and I'll send you your FTP username, password. So it will take little time to transfer the files from local to the main server. Once your files get transferred, what you can do, you can go to the browser and you can write brook.manzoor.trainer.com and you can press enter. You should see the portal. Control F5. This is from previous request we are getting from cache. It is not accessed because we have not transferred all the files yet. It is being transferred. Still it is in process. It will take 2 to 3 minutes. Once everything gets transferred successfully, then you can access. See, as of now, if just you have understood the concept, that is more than enough. This process you can just see, open the for process. Now you might be having a question in your mind, where do we get all these things from? Where do you got this FTP address? Where do you created this user and password? And where do you created these subdomains? So these are all the mysteries. So these things will be solved at the end of the course, not now. As of now, you are starting from here. You can, I have created some FTP, I have some FTP address, I have created username and password and subdomain, and I have given you to host. So your job is starting from here. Now you assume that this is the address where you are going to host your website, or it is the server where you are going to host your website. And I have shown that, I have created all those things on my ASP.NET. So it is a paid service, but we will see this control panel and all those things. These are all business secrets. I'm going to teach everything from everything in this course. This is what we have done, and this is called as shared hosting, and we have Azure. You might have heard about azure.microsoft.com. This is cloud hosting. Now what is the difference between shared server and cloud server and all those things I will teach, don't worry. Just this time you just try to understand what is what, that's it, because this is the first week of boot camp. So I want you people to speak out on the topics and understand some simple and basic things. Like you might be saying that I have developed a portfolio, and you do not know what do you mean by a static website. Means it does not look good, even though it has nothing to do with your real-time projects, but it is important when you go and face some interviews. You know what, today in this today's session we have learned one complete subject. We used to have a subject called as information technology, where we have all these things: IP address, domain name, hosting, servers, and they took 6 months to teach one subject. So this one slide is teaching everything. Yes, now you can explore it. You can Google domain name server if you want to go into the depth. Okay, but now you have an idea. Now you see, that's why you buy some domain names, right? You buy some domain names so that it should be identified uniquely. And that was my main intention behind today's session. Within 1.5 minutes it will get hosted, and 1 minute is left out for our session. So we are following the right speed. Just I wanted to create a thought that if pre-boot camp has such a value, then what would be the value of boot camp? Just you can think of that. So that was my main intention, that within 1 week I want to inject some kind of confidence in you, that in pre-boot camp we can do all these things. Then what are the things that we can do in boot camp? We can do a lot of things, and don't worry, I'm not at all going to hurry. This first week I have rushed, and I want to see your speed, I want to see your understanding level and all those things. So to understand your speed and all those things, from Monday onwards, anyway, from Monday we'll start SQL Server. So it will be slow and steady process. We have 5 months of time in our hand. No hurry, no rush. Every day we will learn some concepts, and which should increase our confidence. We are almost done. We got all our files on the remote server. You see HTML, index.html. This is what we are going to access now. Done. That's it. Now I'll just say Control F5. Got it. I'll copy and I'll put it in the comment box. Do let me know if you people can access it from anywhere. So that's it from my side. Have a nice day. If you have something to ask, you can ping me. So I'm going to end this session. Thank you very much.